Daniel Rowe with TradeThePlan.com. I'm going to try to get through this video as quickly as possible and keep it under 10 minutes so I can get it up and out super fast. The last video I made on a couple of days ago on U.S. stock markets and sectors, I was saying that this was likely a major low and that we would be going up and out from this area. At the time, I think we were in the process of heading up to this high, or maybe we had just made it, I think, the 28th, 27th. Yeah, so that high is this area on the ES, this down-sloping upper median line. It's also the midline of this channel here. So it was a pretty good looking. How did that happen? Right, because I'm using Blackbird and we got a signal in the opposite direction. It took one off right there, which is fine. So let me just go through this very, very quickly. So as we're coming down super fast like we have been out of this high from Monday, or from Tuesday rather, I wouldn't be attempting to get long yesterday because of the speed at which it's coming down, and we had minimal retracement and no real look to a potential C wave down. So I want to see it come down to the bottom of not just an upsloping channel in favor of the long trade, but also a downsloping channel showing that it's a potential end of a correction. And when I draw that channel on the minute charts, you can see, well, I can't really connect to that one because there's no way that we could get to the bottom of that channel without the most massive of sell-offs. And I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I think we have completely reversed as of right now. We'll see. But I mean, it's already making a V bottom. I was actually hoping it would come back down a little lower, and I'll show you why. This is the RTH chart. So this would be what the S&P 500 stock index would look like. But this is using, obviously, the futures, the ES. And it's a 1-minute chart. So this one I can draw the down-sloping channel from extreme high to the high before the close yesterday, and then to the lowest low right after the open yesterday. And we almost came down to that, but not quite. So I was thinking, well, yeah, I'm probably early, maybe, whatever. It's a huge potential on this trade, though. So I went ahead and got in thinking, well, maybe I get stopped out. And if I do, then I'll have a chance to get it after I get stopped out, which is fine because the potential on this is, like I said, it's huge. It's way above this high. So this is not a good spot for it. In fact, it should be much, much higher. So yeah, I think it's bottomed out. Anyway, this is the first spot for that major low. Obviously, you can see the perfect spot. You've got the perfect touch of the median line and the channel line from the same baseline coming in perfectly right there. You started getting very high volume around midnight. So definitely looking like a potential low. This is the other area that's a little bit lower. So this upsloping lower median line connecting the previous two lows together and then dragging that channel back to the highest high. So if it does go a little bit lower, that would be my target. So yeah, if we do break the current low, right in this little area would be the next spot for me to attempt another long. But I've already taken one off automatically. Blackbird did that, the automated trade management portion of this. So just to go through the reasons for the trade. Number one, the areas in the market geometry. Downsloping area on the RTH chart. Didn't quite touch it, but almost. Pretty close. And then the upsloping area on the hourly chart. It's actually on the hourly. I'm drawing it on the 30-minute as well. The 138-minute. So really good look in the market geometry. And then it's also the 61.8 extension of what would be, if this is correct, probably a triangle B and then C. Not really sure what to do with this, but then it doesn't really matter. You could easily count this an ABC up or a WXY up, and I'm sure in hindsight you could make it look like a 5-wave move up. I'm not really worried about getting Elliott wave perfect. I think it's just a waste of time, really. I'm just looking for what look like the ends of corrective waves. I am kind of using Elliott wave as a guide, nothing more. I'm just looking for retracements and established trends, and then watching and waiting for major reversals. If it's a reversal up, then I'm looking for the first high or low. If it's a strong reversal down, then I'm looking for the first low or high. So that's about the extent of what I'm attempting to do with counting these waves. But anyhow, that is a pretty typical looking zigzag, and it's right back into the heart of all of this volume. And it's just taking out that low, barely. I think the gap is down here. They've all been filled though, pretty much. A little bit stronger than a 61.8, but that's whatever. It's just between that area, 61.8, 78.6, that I look for a wave 2. And then this one's a little bit iffy, but still valid, simply because of the fact that this first push down was so incredibly strong. This one is fine, it's valid, and we ticked it perfectly. What is it, number 2? Yeah, this is the tick chart. Because it spans so many days, the tick chart is pretty much lining up with a minute chart. It's usually when you're only going across a session or two that the tick chart really looks quite a bit different than the minute charts. The areas on the tick chart look different than the areas on the minute charts. So yeah, the areas in the market geometry are fine. They look good. You didn't have the greatest looking signal in the volume, but you did have enough to warrant a trade, as you can see here. So this was the entry right there. And the chart on the right, the row 1, so it's the row 2 on the left, volume, momentum divergence, and operative time frame signals are all on this Bloodhound template on the top panel. So it's identifying which chart is the operative time frame for a potential, end of a corrective wave. And then depending upon which time frame that is, which chart it's lining up on, you have a number of confirmation conditions from the volume signals, relative volume on every chart, and momentum divergence. So whatever the operative time frame is, in this case, for this long trade, it's the hourly chart and the RTH4, which is a 15-minute RTH, regular trading hour session. So let's say it's the hourly. So if it's the hourly chart, that is the operative time frame, which is here, see? So these bars are identified as being the potential end of corrective waves, right in here, which is what this is in the lower panel. So because it's the hourly chart, Min5 is the hourly chart on the ES workspace, then I have a number of conditions that must be met in the volume and the momentum divergence on that chart, the hourly chart, and then all of the faster charts. I group them into sets of 3. Just like I said, that long that I'm in now was a setup on the hourly chart and the 15-minute RTH. So I've grouped these 4 charts together for these signals, this group of signals. And then these 3 charts, starting with the Min2, which is a 5-minute chart on the ES, Min3, which is a 10-minute, RTH4 again, the 15-minute RTH. Those 3 are grouped together here with the other set of conditions for this set of trades, and then the fastest set of trades here on the RTH1, which is a 1-minute chart, and the Min1, which is a 2-minute chart on the ES. So that's why you have 3 sets of confirmation conditions. And like I said, these are accessing all of the different operative time frames for those potential corrective waves. Depending upon which chart is the operative time frame determines the set of confirmation conditions from the volume and momentum divergence and volume divergence. This one is a setup on the hourly chart, and I know that because it's showing you right here. It's the hourly operative time frame, corrective pattern. Okay, I'm going to interject this in to replace what I was trying to do. I was trying to explain why Blackbird took one off where it did, and explain the differences between the signals that you see on the top panel and then the signals that you see, if you can, behind these subtitles in the subpanel. So the signals in the subpanel in that Bloodhound template are the market geometry confluence signals. When you have a bar that's touching an area from 2 or more charts, that's when you'll get the signal from this Bloodhound template, and the same panel as the divergence analyst, the lowest indicator panel. And these are split up into 3 groups as well. I'm not going to go into all the details of that. I don't want to confuse. But in order to get a signal on the chart on the right, you have to have a signal from the volume and momentum divergence with the operative time frame signals, confirmation in the top panel, together with the signal from the market geometry template. So here, that's where we had both of those coming together. So we had the market geometry signal starting about right in here. Then we had the confirmation signal there, and they overlap here. So as long as you have one signal from both templates within 2 bars, well, within 3 bars technically, then you'll get the signal on the chart on the right. So this is that long signal that I took, and then it closed the first contract here once the trade is in profit by at least 3 times the average range, and you get a signal in the opposite direction. So that's why that contract came off. And then technically you had another short signal here, but of course I didn't take it because I'm long and I'm not looking for shorts, which did in fact show up just before the high. Most of these signals will show up just before the turn, which is pretty awesome. And it did turn down, but as it's going up in favor of the trade, these trailing stop rules go into effect, and it's already tightened that second contract stop up behind these lows in here, and then now the most recent low. So it's trailing that stop up automatically, and I may hold this one overnight. I'm not sure. I doubt it. It's already moved so far so fast that I may get out at the next area, which is right here. So the stops and targets can be set or managed by coloring these lines. So I'll show you that. I'm going to make sure that the trail is on. Yeah, the trail is still on. So I'll color this one to green, spring green. And it tightened that target up. You saw that? And so if we make it there, yeah, I'll definitely close that and then look for a re-entry long after it reopens, or maybe tomorrow morning. What would be the next big area? Actually, that one would be, and that's actually a little bit closer. So yeah, there we go. And see it. It'll vacillate back and forth between 2 areas when you have that spring green colored line on both the Min2 and the Tick2. I'm not going to go into all the details of the rules for this system. I just really wanted to get this video up and out. So as a matter of fact, let me just stop it here, and I'll make a separate video going over the rules for the system. That's beyond the scope of this video, obviously. I'm going to take a look at just a couple of other areas first. I'm a bit worried that may be wave 1 up like this, like that's 1, and now we're making 2. I'm going to give it a little bit of time to see if it'll break through this downsloping area. I think we're right in the point of control right in here, pretty close to it. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see it just go sideways for a little while. Yeah, it's right close to that volume point of control. It's moved pretty far, pretty fast in my favor. Got a good mind to just close it right now. The more I look at it, the more I'm not convinced it's going to get through this spot today. Maybe it will. I should have had my target setting right there, and I would already be out. But then again, I'm buying this because I want to trade back above the high. I just don't know about trying to hold this overnight. I'm thinking we're going to be up in here tomorrow, 3,900, but that's, speculation, as all of it is. Anyway, I'm going to let it ride temporarily. If it starts retracing hard down, then I'll just close it. But if we get one more good push up, then I'm going to try to hold for that target and see if I can't get filled today. Got a feeling it's about to turn down, though. Okay, I'm going to end it there. I am going to just go ahead and close this just so it's done and over with. It's a decent exit. Really should have exited here if I were monitoring it like I should have been doing. Yep.
Order filled.
All right, whatever, it's closed. I don't need to worry about it anymore. I may be able to get long again. What I would like to do would be to get long from down here. That would be ideal as a potential C wave of wave 2. It's probably going to go without me, but whatever. At least I got a chunk out of it. Can't think like that. All right, I'm really going to stop and end it now. This is it.